Well, it's time for an NDTV exclusive now. The Chief Justice of India, Justice Ranjan Gogoi, in an on-record conversation to our legal editor A. Vaidyanathan, has said motives being attributed to judges on their judgments is a disturbing trend and will prevent young people from becoming judges. Importantly, he also spoke out for the very first time on the controversy over the change in collegium recommendations, saying that this is not unusual and if a decision was changed before sending it to government, there must have been some reasons for that. My colleague A. Vaidyanathan now joins us in studio. Thanks very much, A. Vaidyanathan, for joining us. Tell us a bit about this conversation that you had with the Chief Justice of India. You know, the big question has always been, why are there not enough judges? And at that point, he says that, you know, the talented lot is actually not, this is perhaps deterring them from joining and wanting to become judges.
In fact, NDTV had a very long discussion, more than an hour or so, with the Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi. His basic point was, you see, the controversy is going on, and he says, if any judgment you want to criticize, attack the judgment, point out the legal flaws, we may be wrong also, but attributing motives and mud-slinging against the judges, it's a very dangerous and disturbing trend. He went on to say that the high courts, when they recommend names of the advocates to elevate them or to appoint them as high court judges, very young people, very talented advocates later withdrew their candidature, saying that they are not interested. He also said that these young advocates who are talented or creamy, what he described, says that because of the recent trend, so anything happens, any judgment, motives are attributed, and he says these people who withdrew their consent, they said their family is not interested because it will put not only the advocate's family under strain when such attacks takes place. That's why he's saying we are not getting any good advocates to become judges.
Also, you know, there's another point that has been in the debate, that the government is actually stalling the appointment of judges. What is his take on that?
Justice Gogoi said that is completely wrong. He said, as far as the recommendation sent to the government, within 3 days it's being cleared. It is true. Recently, when the Supreme Court Collegium sent names of the judges for the Supreme Court, it was cleared probably within 48 hours. So he said he had spoken to the Prime Minister and told him, saying that if you have any objection, you please put your objection on the file, return to it. Don't sit on it. And he said it's happening, it's rather the other way around. So government is not keeping, it's only few cases, but most of the cases with the Supreme Court Collegium to clear. So he's saying it's wrong to say government is stalling the appointment of judges.
And did he speak about the big collegium controversy and the seniority issue?
Yes, seniority issue, he says that it's not unusual. Number of times it has happened. People don't know that. And he interestingly pointed out also, Justice D.O. Chandrachud would be becoming Chief Justice after 2 years or so. In fact, he is senior to him as a judge. So Chandrachud joined in 2000 March as a judge of the Bombay High Court, whereas Justice Gogoi, who is presently the Chief Justice, he joined as a judge of the Guwahati High Court in 2001 in February. So he says this is not very unusual. Sometimes people who are not being the Chief Justice of High Court are being elevated. So he says it's nothing wrong. And also he says whatever happens in collegium is being reported. And he said you see only the one side, other side you don't see, because judges cannot go to the media and issue press statements or address a press conference.
Right. Vaidyanathan, also talk a little bit about the Chief Justice really took over in October, early October. It's been a couple of months. He looks like a very by the book, a very serious person. Is he really that serious in court?
Yes, he is very serious. I will tell you a very interesting thing. So whenever we stand in the court, particularly media and others, apart from addressing the advocates and getting into the file and examining the case, he watches everyone, what one is doing, what the other person is doing. In fact, I jokingly told him, saying that, sir, you are just like an headmaster looking at what we are doing. He just smiled. But about his short-tempered, when I asked him why he seems to be short-tempered, and he very sarcastically said that he is not a diplomat or a politician to keep smiling always. He said, when somebody talks nonsense, what should I do?
Right. Very interesting. Thanks very much, Vaidyanathan, for bringing us that very interesting and an exclusive interview and a take on the Chief Justice of India. Thanks very much for joining us this morning.